Hello and welcome to the video. Now, I've looked at quite a few flight controllers on the channel in recent weeks, and it seems to be that because of Chinese New Year, they all appeared to arrive at more or less the same time. Now, I have my own nearest and dearest flight controller manufacturers that I use a lot, but I've potentially overlooked one, specifically the GOKU series from Flywoo. Now, they actually make an awful lot of different stuff, and I've had a couple of people get in touch to ask me about them, and I've never really played with them. So I thought, you know what, let me get a couple in here, specifically the new F722s, both the Mini and the Pro version here, to have a bit of a play with. Now, I've not used a lot of Flywoo hardware in terms of the flight controllers and ESCs and stuff, so I'm very tempted to maybe use one of these in a build and see how it performs, because ultimately that's how you find how good a flight controller is. But if you have used these and you like them, or you've used them and you've had a bad experience, I'd be interested to get feedback on what they're like, because all the stuff on the website seems to be very positive. Now, both of these flight controllers have a number of common features, both using STM32 F722 processors running at a speed of about 217 megahertz. They also use snap lock sockets, so that should make it easier for that kind of simple, no solder, snap together builds, and it also means that those connections should be nice and safe from popping loose in the event of a crash or vibration. Black box is part of the flight controller and is a 16 meg size, and they do feature a couple of BECs. One of the really cool things is that it does also allow for a switchable 10 volt output, specifically designed around HD systems, so that you can power them on when you're ready to fly rather than just have them sat there soaking, getting really hot if you have something like a GPS attached. Both supports up to 8 motor outputs. The smaller one does it in a slightly different way, and they both share a common look and feel, which is slightly different from the other range of flight controllers and PCBs that they make. So let's go into detail with the larger of the two first. So this is the GOKU F722 Pro V2 flight controller. This will run both Betaflight and iNav, although it comes with Betaflight installed out of the box. Again, the MCU is a STM32 F722. Gyroscope on this is a MPU 6000, nice to see. Has an OSD chip, barometers on here as well, a DP310. Black box is 16 megs, I've already mentioned. Does provide 6 UARTs, although not every one of them is presented in a useful way. Input voltage is 2 to 6S LiPo. 2 BECs on this. There's a 10 volt 2 amp, which is really designed for the HD system, and a 5 volt 2 amp here as well. It's 37 by 37 by 8 millimeters and has the standard 30 by 30 millimeter mounting holes. Weight is just a fraction under 10 grams. It can be bought in the way I have it here, which is with the optional 4-in-1 ESC. This is the GOKU 506S 8-bit 50 amp ESC. So this will run at 50 amps continuously, but will burst up to 55 amps for just 10 seconds. Run from 2 to 6S, supports up to D-Shot 300 and 600, includes a current sensor, doesn't have any kind of BEC output. Size of this is 42 by 42 by 4 millimeters, and again has the 30.5 by 30.5 M3 style mounting holes. Now, playing with this here and looking through all the documentation, there's a number of things that I like. I like the fact that this is an F7 based flight controller. That gives a little bit more future proofing for future versions of things like iNav and Betaflight when they eventually start to retire more and more stuff in the F4 based flight controllers. And I like the fact that it's X8 capable. There are 2 connections on here that are designed for the 1 to 4 and also then 5 to 8 motor connections. Lots of UARTs on here. UART 1 is really for the S bus input for the DJI. Looks like UART 2 is for the receiver. UART 3 is either for your analog VTX or your HD OSD telemetry. UART 4 is actually not for anything really, but there are pins opposite the USB connector here on the top. UART 5 is dedicated for the GPS, and UART 6, there's only one RX6 pad on the bottom. And like lots of modern flight controllers, they're moving away from having to solder everything on. Lots of it is with the cables, and as you saw when we unboxed it, all the cables that you need come as part of the kit, including nicely a flying lead with an XT60 on it as well. Only a couple of things to be aware of here. A single camera input, I don't think that's a particular problem, although lots of flight controllers historically have supported dual cameras for quads. I very rarely see them implemented. And excitingly, there are the I2C pads on the flight controller as well, even though they're not shown in the wiring diagram, and you'll need those if you want an external compass to fly something like iNav. No smart port connections shown in the very good wiring diagrams that are on the website, so be aware of that. I think that's less of an issue, but there are still people out there like me who are trying to use up their old FreeSky receivers, and there are pads for an external buzzer, so that is available if you want to pop it on there. So what about the Pro Mini version? Well, it has a lot of the same highlights, however it does have a slightly different gyro. So this is the F722 Pro Mini V2 flight controller. Again, this is available with Betaflight and iNav firmware. It came with Betaflight on mine, but iNav will support it. MCU is the same. The gyroscope this time is an ICM 42688, and it also has the DP310 black box. Again is the 16 meg, 6 UARTs, 2 to 6S capable, and again with the 10 volt 2 amp and the 5 volt 2 amp BEC. Really nice to see again that that 10 volt output is once more switchable, which means that you can turn that on and off. A really cute feature. I'd like to see that in more flight controllers. Mounting hole size for this is 20 by 20 millimeters, and the weight again is just under about 10 grams. This can be bought as part of a stack with the GOKU 406S 8-bit 40 amp ESC, so 10 amps less than the larger version, continuous current of 40 amps, burst of 45 amps, again 2 to 6S capable with support for D-Shot 3 and 600, has a current sensor on here, and the size is about 30 by 30 by 7 millimeters. And the mounting holes are 20 by 20 M2 size, and again you get all of that stuff. Very similar list of things that I like about this. There's only a couple of things that's worth pointing out that you lose by going to the smaller version. The first is that the X8 support is now available via a set of pads here at the side rather than a separate connector, so that would make it a little bit harder, although I don't tend to see these smaller mini flight controllers used in X8 configurations as much as the larger stuff. The pinouts are very similar. Again, it's all the same kind of connectors. 6 UARTs. A couple of things to be aware of. The solder pads are unlabeled, so you are going to need the little wiring diagram and pinout diagram that comes as part of the box to remember what you're doing. Those are there in support of the connection, so if you don't want to use the cables that come as part of the kit, you can absolutely solder it as well, and that goes not only for this one but the larger flight controller too. Again, still a single camera input, and again there are I2C pads available, sadly not part of the normal GPS connector, but they're there. No smart port connections on the wiring diagram, but again I think that's less of an issue as we move forward, and again external buzzer pins are here as well. So initial impressions and playing with this stuff are quite impressive. If you've used any of the Flywoo GOKU stuff and you've had experiences, good or bad, I'd be really interested in hearing from you. But initial impressions in the way that it's put together, the support, the quality of how it's all designed and laid out is initially very, very good. In the early days of flight controllers, we had to deal with lots of clone-based stuff from China or places like eBay and other things, and we're really spoilt at the moment with the amount of choice that we have. There's an awful lot of flight controllers kicking around now from manufacturers who are very good at building high-quality flight controllers where there's much less chance of you plugging it into your computer and something horrible happening. I'm very tempted to use one of these in one of the other frames I've had in recently for review, get my hands on some motors and do another little build, because that quad building for beginners thing that I did recently was actually an awful lot of fun, and I suspect these will be super easy to put together, wire up, configure and get working in the same way that that SpeedyBee flight controller was too. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch my videos and find them useful, then please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. If you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a Patreon and support the time I spend helping others and get access to lots of exclusive benefits. Link is in the video description. Remember that all the videos on the channel are organised into playlists, so you can easily use those playlists to find all the videos on a subject that you are interested in. Add Painless 360 to your searches on Google and YouTube, and it'll help you find my content for any particular topic. Thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.